Hi there, welcome to the latest episode of my 10-minute moan. And the topic of this 10-minute moan is my fears for where blasphemy laws could lead us. Now, there was talk yesterday in the House of Commons about introducing blasphemy laws.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. November marks Islamophobia Awareness Month. Last year, the United Nations Human Rights Council adopted a resolution condemning the desecration of religious texts, including the Quran, despite opposition from the previous government. Acts of such mindless desecration only serve to fuel division and hatred within our society. Will the Prime Minister commit to introducing measures to prohibit the desecration of all religious texts and the prophets of the Abrahamic religions?
Can I agree with him that desecration is awful and I think should be condemned across the House? We are, as I said before, Mr. Speaker, committed to tackling all forms of hatred and division, including, of course, Islamophobia in all of its forms. Thank you.
Keir Starmer didn't disagree with it. He didn't really give us much confidence that he would oppose such a thing. And that concerns me. And the reason it concerns me is it's the same logic I applied to the assisted dying bill. And that is my fears, not where a law starts, but where it ends after years or months or decades of interpretation. Because that's basically how laws evolve. Something happens, you say, right, we can't do this, and then it's challenged in courts, and we can end up with slightly different versions of laws, not from where they were intended. And my biggest problem is, well, what is blasphemy and where could this end up? Well, blasphemy, in the dictionary definition, is the action of offence of speaking about a god or sacred things, speaking wrongly about them. So, if we take that as any holy book would be referred to as a sacred thing. So let's talk hypothetically for a minute. Let's just say our Christian Bible, for example, or a new version of a Christian Bible, was to include things like it's okay to steal. Then anyone that was saying, no, it's not okay to steal, would be committing the offence of blasphemy, or at least a version of the laws of blasphemy. Okay? Another thing that is in Bibles says that we shouldn't worship graven images, which people do. So if you had blasphemy laws, then anyone with an effigy, etc., in a religious building could be, in fact, breaking the law. And it might be challenged, but where do we stop? And that's just sort of a couple of silly, not so dangerous interpretations of a blasphemy law. But it'll give you a sort of idea of where my head is with this thing. So that's the worrying thing. Now, to take that to its sort of worst option, let's just hypothetically suggest that a religious book suggested that this religion was the only pure religion, and anybody following another religion or not following this particular religion should be either forced into the religion or killed. Now, if a religious book was to suggest such a thing and blasphemy laws were introduced, you could then be making it legal to have people forced into religion or killed for not following the religion. And that becomes terror. So I know it might sound far-fetched and people might think Craig's lost the plot a bit. I'm not talking about what happens today, I'm talking about what happens tomorrow. And even a year ago, if you were to suggest to me that people would be put in jail for having a different opinion to our government, and actually saying things that turned out to be true, I would have told you you were crazy. So that gives you an idea in the sort of how things that we might think today are ridiculous become a reality going forward. Now, I'm not suggesting I've used like the 100 out of a scale of 100 and how things could go by accepting blasphemy laws. We could reach 60 or 70 or 80% of that. I don't know. But that is where my fears are. Because when the law is written, it may be even for the best intentions in the world, but it's how it's interpreted through time that we become having, and we start having difficulties with laws. And again, that referred back to a video I done yesterday, and that's where I have concerns. I'm not suggesting that assisted dying is right or wrong. It's a very, very hot topic, and I'm not actually sure what side I would go on if I had to vote on such a thing tomorrow. It's because it's not where the intentions are of the law, it's where the interpretation of it becomes through time. So imagine that. Imagine calling for a law that could actually see terrorism legalised. Because it would be illegal to stand against such things if any sacred thing, i.e. a holy book, was to suggest that anybody who didn't forcefully follow a law could be killed. Call me crazy, but rewind the clock 5 years and look forward to what goes on in the world today, and you'll see why it maybe doesn't sound so crazy after all. So, do we need blasphemy laws? Probably not, because anything in someone's wish list of why they want a blasphemy law introduced in the first place is probably already covered by other laws that we already have. But by having a blasphemy law, not only does it weaken the notion of free speech, and it makes it illegal to question religion, gods, or any sacred things. And then it's who decides what god or gods and who decides what sacred things. And that's a really difficult bit. Because what if I invent a new religion tomorrow and I write whatever I want in that religious book, that I say this is our Bible as such? I could put anything I want in it and then refer and use blasphemy laws in my defence to practically do anything that I so wish. So that's why we probably don't need them, because any true intention of them we've probably got covered in law just now, and you're just opening up another can of worms for people to really take a piss. That's in layman's terms. Because, and I don't know the true intentions of anybody wanting to introduce blasphemy laws in the modern world. I don't know if they're cute enough to say, well, if I get this through, it means I can do X, Y, and Z. And it might not be as ridiculous as killing people and acts of terror, but there could be not so pure reasoning behind certain people wanting to push for blasphemy laws. And I find it a bit ridiculous that you would have any law. I mean, well, where would that leave the atheist? Do we jail them? There's another possibility of where blasphemy laws could lead. Because if you're an atheist, then you are, by your mere actions, shown disrespect and offence towards every religion. So, do we need bigger prisons for all these atheists? Because there's probably a fair amount in the United Kingdom currently. So be very, very careful. Be very, very aware of what our establishment are suggesting here. And be very, very aware of what might happen next as they take steps towards trying to introduce laws that we A, don't need, and B, could be very, very dangerous. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you've not already done so, please consider subscribing and hitting the notifications bell for the channel. Let me know your comments below. Am I crazy? Have I undersold this? What's your opinion on this? Please put that in the comments below. But most important of all, unless you're the type of person who appears to be wanting to take another step in the destruction of the United Kingdom, its standards, its morals, and its traditions, not you. But
Everyone else, have a great day. Cheerio, bye now.